Hello. In this video, I wanted to shift gears. Usually, I argue that theism is true in my videos. This video is not about which worldview is true. Here, I'm simply going to be pointing out that atheism, specifically naturalistic atheism, is very, very sad. Why is it sad? Well, because physics. Imagine the following setup. I have a battery. It's powered by a hand crank generator. This battery, in turn, runs a robotic arm, which turns the hand crank generator, which powers the battery, which powers the arm, which turns the generator, and so on. Can the setup continue running forever? No. It's physically impossible. The second law of thermodynamics teaches that the amount of usable energy in a system will always decrease. Energy will be lost by friction and overcoming air resistance, and so on and so forth. Through such processes, energy will be lost into the surrounding environment, and recollecting it to use it again would be impossible without wasting even more energy. Now, the second law of thermodynamics applies to the universe as a whole. The amount of usable energy is decreasing. So, all sources of usable energy, like stars, will one day fizzle out. And any process that requires usable energy, like life itself, will one day end. So, even the possibility of love will one day be swallowed up by death. Any work of art, any person you love, and all civilization itself will succumb to death one day or another. The universe in its entirety will one day be completely cold and completely lifeless. Now, I've heard atheists talk about how they still find happiness in life, but honestly, if it's not played to dramatic music or said with bombastic confidence to have a psychological effect on the audience, then it sounds hollow and it sounds empty, knowing that one day everything that gives you joy is going to be swallowed up. Now, at this point, the question I would be expecting from an atheist is, so what? Life sucks, but I care about truth. How I feel about things doesn't change the way reality actually is. And looking at reality, I'm not convinced that there is a God. If that's true, good for you. But I can't believe that that's the whole story for most atheists. You see, when I debate atheists, I see quite clearly that atheists really are emotionally and psychologically invested in their worldview being true. And that in and of itself is not a problem. I think we all are to some extent. But I gotta say, I really just can't imagine being invested in a worldview where love is defeated by death, rather than a worldview where death is defeated by love. It's so strange that it seems frankly bizarre. I can't understand it. That's the end of this video. Thanks for watching.